Christina was astounded by the arrival of 50 cheerful faces at school, all gathered to brighten her day. It felt like an unexpected gift from the universe, but she wondered if this happiness would endure beyond Father's Day. Once a firm believer in miracles and magic, Christina's faith was starting to wane. An entire week had passed since her 6th birthday, and her heartfelt wish remained unfulfilled. Certainly, there were small blessings to count, as life had become more comfortable ever since she, an orphan, had been welcomed into the home of a foster mother who resided alone in a splendid house adorned with towering glass windows. However, the allure of extravagant breakfast spreads and frilly dresses had worn thin rather quickly. Now, the young girl yearned for something she couldn't confide in anyone, not even her caring foster mother. It was not something the lady would be able to buy her anyway. Nobody can buy a dad. And yet, surrounded by a new life of luxury, that's all she really wanted. One morning, the nanny got Christina ready for school, fed her breakfast, and drove her to school. "Can I roll down the window?" Christina asked, looking in awe at the trees along the road swaying in the breeze. "No, that'll mess up your hair," the nanny said in her robotic voice. Christina stuck her lip out, crossed her arms, and scolded the universe again. "What's taking you so long, universe? Where's my dad? I bet he would allow me to roll down the windows." It was as if the universe wanted to be scolded that day, because in class, Christina's teacher, Mr. Raymond, made a surprising announcement that made Christina frown again. "Kids, tomorrow is Father's Day, and at school, we're all celebrating it by having breakfast with dads. All of you get to bring your dads or anyone you look up to as your dad to school tomorrow. We'll all sit in one big circle, share funny stories, sing songs, have breakfast together, and have truckloads of fun." How does that sound? Terrible? Horrible? The worst idea ever, Christina muttered under her breath. She caught Mr. Raymond looking at her and quickly turned her pout into a smile. For the rest of the day, all the kids could talk about was who they were going to bring to class. Most kids were talking up their fathers, businessmen, policemen, engineers, and even an actor. A few others were bringing their favorite uncles and grandfathers. Everybody had somebody who was a father figure, except for Christina. By the time school was over, Christina was exhausted from dodging questions from her classmates and was one question away from bursting into tears. As it turned out, that final question would come from the teacher, Mr. Raymond. He had noticed the light go out in Christina's eyes ever since the breakfast with Dad's announcement that day. And after school, he spotted the sad little girl sitting alone by the school gate, waiting for the nanny to pick her up. "Are you all right, Christina?" was all he asked, and the child hugged his legs and cried. After getting home that evening, Mr. Raymond couldn't shake off the sadness he had seen on Christina's face and the heartbreaking secret birthday wish she had revealed to him. Midway through his 7 p.m. coffee, Mr. Raymond had an idea. He opened his laptop, adjusted his glasses, and as the keys on the keyboard clattered, Mr. Raymond began to smile. The teacher was putting out a post on social media, sharing Christina's touching story and asking for a dad to volunteer for Christina and show up to school the next day as her father figure. Mr. Raymond put out the post, skipped dinner, and prepared to go to bed early. Just when he was hoping that some kind man would agree to the unusual request, his phone buzzed. And it buzzed again and again. By the time the teacher could get his feet on the floor, switch on the lights, and check his phone, he was shocked to see the number flashing across the screen. 50 volunteers? Am I reading this right? Mr. Raymond gasped. He put on his glasses and read through all the responses on his post. Where the teacher was worried about receiving one kind volunteer, there were indeed 50 kind men who were moved by Christina's plight and came forward to brighten her day. Once again, Mr. Raymond began typing, putting an elaborate surprise into play. The following day, Christina dragged her feet to school, not knowing the abundance of love that was waiting to surprise her. She walked along the hallways with her eyes glued to the floor, failing to notice the line of adult men outside her class door. Mr. Raymond said her name last after the other kids had introduced their dads to the class. Just as Christina was about to mumble that she had no one, Mr. Raymond held her shoulders and said, "Christina, I know you wanted to bring a father figure, and you thought there wasn't one. You are right about that, my dear. There isn't one father figure who has shown up for you. There are 50. Christina was confused at first, but as she rushed outside the class to meet the swarm of dads, she was dizzy with pure joy. "You've really come for me," she clapped in excitement. "You bet, Christina. Mr. Raymond here told us all about you, and we wouldn't miss it for the world. One of the men held a cute blue soft toy for Christina, and we've heard that there are waffles too. Another cheerful face added, triggering a hearty chuckle in the crowd. The volunteers joined the other dads and kids for the day, participating in every game and sing-along. Some volunteers had brought guitars, ukuleles, and tambourines, and they played and sang every song the kids requested. Mr. Raymond stood at the back, reveling in the happiness and excitement on Christina's face. After a day filled with joy and laughter, Christina found herself in search of a particular volunteer, the one with the melodious voice and a gentle paunch, the man who had bestowed upon her the cherished toy. As fate would have it, this man happened to be a prosperous toy store owner in the neighborhood, and he and his wife had long harbored dreams of adopting a child. When the evening drew to a close, Christina spotted the kind-hearted man engaged in conversation with Mr. Raymond. Without hesitation, she rushed to him and enveloped him in a warm hug, expressing her gratitude for the delightful gift. Weeks passed, and the man and his wife's dreams materialized. They adopted 6-year-old Christina. In that moment, Christina's resentment toward the universe dissolved completely, for she had found a loving home where she truly belonged, and the couple knew their lives would be forever changed for the better.